Like this would be going over the course of probably at least 30 years. Right, just pondering.
Is it real, like, Jesus didn't really start his ministry till he was like 30 years old?
Yeah, around there, yeah. Luke says there, I don't remember what chapter, but he was around 30 years old. Yeah, you'll get there if you keep reading all those little cross references.
Yeah. That's where I got that, actually.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, like, you know, the Lord, and he talks about him doing all these miracles and healing all these people, but it just seemed like to me he was doing that throughout his whole life, not
Okay.
that he didn't start doing that at the age of 30.
Well, his first miracle is at that wedding in Cana, right? And whatever chapter that is, Matthew 5, maybe? Where he turns the water into wine, right? And then he starts revealing himself. So most would put at his ministry was 3.5 years of after he was authenticated at his baptism. But yeah, I mean, he would have been serving God and growing and learning. And I mean, as a child, he's in the temple, right?
So
the rabbis are like,
basically, like, he didn't really start to do, let's say.
well, he was waiting. The thing is, he was waiting for God's time, right, to reveal himself as the Messiah.
Okay.
Okay. Because politically, if that wasn't at
he was
the
supposed to have a job coming up.
Yeah.
But he was just waiting for the right time.
Yeah, right
for
time.
it to be revealed.
yeah. I mean, it politically and God's timing and all that had to be in place. Yeah, which is interesting too when you start reading through what was going on in Israel. And like, well, that would have been a disaster, and that wouldn't have been received well. No, there was a war going on at that time. That's pretty cool. Neil, you look like you had an application.
No, probably look more like a Murray post.
Yeah, I know that was the dodge there.
Stay awake while you're reading your Bible.
All right, well, I'll close with my application unless I think almost everybody's shared. My application just from that text is these shepherds went from fear directly into obedience. They went, right? So it is possible to be on your face and trying to figure out, I mean, kind of thing there in the glory, be scared for your lives, wondering what the message means, but then it's like after that all kind of dies down, it's like, okay, I need to do something with this. I need to do an application. I need to head to Bethlehem. I gotta go check this sign out like they said, right? And they did it. And so I need to, when God reveals something to me, right, or He speaks to me quietly through His Word, or loudly, I need to do it, right? I need to move on it. I need to act on that as the Spirit leads. So that would be a good application. In a corporate one, we'll all just ponder these things in our hearts. Unless you have a big yap like me and then I gotta talk about it.
So, regardless of what class or the standing of the shepherds were in relation to society of the day, they obviously still knew something and knew enough that angels and God speaking, this is an authoritative scenario, and
Yeah.
to act upon it, like versus, this is just something weird going on here and pass it off as.
Just trying to think back through like what the last miracle would have been in scriptures, like the last, big God's presence being revealed, other than Zechariah. That was kind of more of a private one, I would say, but one that the nation of Israel would. I mean, you had Malachi prophesy and Zechariah. That'd be some homework to think about. But anyway.
Things that they would have studied and
Yeah.
known about.
Yeah, I was just thinking like a sign to them, like what was the last thing that God did or showed or miracle, As I mean, I take my youth group for example, and I'm like, God can do this for you, and they're like, I have no idea what you're talking about, God's gonna do something for me? You know, like what, like show me, you know, like prove to me. Well, it's here, and that means nothing to me, I didn't grow up with this, like show me, right? It adds something to it.
Oh, on a practical, like, there's been a couple times when she has sent me a text about something and come to Bible study, chosen to come to Bible study with me, and that night, it's been exactly what she asked the question about. You know, and I've said that enough times, you get into the Bible,
Yeah.
you start reading it for yourself, and then you watch how God brings that thing to you in a bunch of other ways to reinforce what he's trying to teach you, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I've had that happen to me a lot too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that'd be a simple way, yeah. It's always been like that application, or even just, that's one of the reasons why we have to give testimony. Like, we should be talking with our kids and our teens more about what God's done in our lives, or leading through conversations, or end of life, or giving birth, like that's a miracle in itself, like all those things. Because otherwise they're just like, what do you mean God works? What do you mean God does? What do you mean God says? Like, that means nothing to me because I've never been around it. But, anyway, better shift gears and pray. Neil's gonna go sleep on it.